7 days. So every 7 days, I had a crystal clear picture on what's happening in my downline. In Malaysia, alright, in the UK, in Sri Lanka, in Papua New Guinea, wherever around the world, I knew what was happening because I was in touch with all my leaders, alright. I had 7-day goals for all my leaders, weekly targets and goals for all my leaders. I followed up with them. I made sure they achieve it. Alright, at the end of 7 days, I reviewed their goals to see whether they achieved it or not. Alright, I did even more drastic things. I did, how many DVDs do you watch a week? And I'm not saying this because I love V Studios. I'm saying this because DVDs is a very effective way to keep your network switched on. Alright, but why do you have to watch a DVD? Because when you sit at home alone, alright, staring at the ceiling singing Kumbaya on Wednesday, which is the middle of the week, what if you switch off? That means Thursday, Friday is 2 wasted days. Now if you are a serious networker, every day matters. So if you take all these goals and targets, alright, and you plug it into Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the 2 previous days, your days are very, very full of activity. Your motivation level is very high because you can't switch off if you're constantly in touch with everyone. And most amazingly, you get amazing results. So what's my message? Every 7 days, from Saturday to Friday, there must be a crystal clear target, goal for you, for your downlines, for your leaders, for everyone to achieve, to comply. Alright? That target and goal becomes very, very, very important. Okay? So what I do is every Saturday, I will take time, 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, to meet my key leaders and sit down with them and do what? Long distance, call, SMS, email. In your own locality, meet face to face. Business over coffee, we call it, okay? Alright? So basically you do this. I meet all of them and I check on their targets on the previous Saturday, 7 days ago. So 7 days ago, they gave me their targets and goals. Alright? On this Saturday, I review what they told me last Saturday to make sure they achieved it. If they achieved it, good. If they don't achieve it, I review why. I analyze, I ask them, what happened? Why? Did you get switched off? Did you get distracted? What happened? You promised to get this many sign-ups. You promised to get that many people attending training. You promised that this many DVDs are going to be watched by your downlines. You promised that you're going to do 4 presentations. What happened? You didn't achieve your target. You didn't achieve your goal. Now if I have trespassed with them, I'll ask them why. Because if I don't question you every 7 days, you switch off. If I don't question you every 7 days and review your goals for the past 7 days, you get lost in the world of confusion. And after 5 years, you come and sit in front of me and cry and say, Patman, I have not achieved my goals. I can't achieve my dreams. This business didn't work. Right? Don't be a moron. If you achieve every 7 days your target, alright guys, you basically will definitely achieve your dreams. Right? So every 7 days I sit down, I review all the goals, right? And then I set new goals for the next 7 days. And they will duplicate this with their downlines. So every layer of networkers in my group, everyone is duplicating the same thing. So what happens at the end of the week? I know exactly whether everyone has achieved their goals and targets just by talking to my key leaders. As long as duplication works effectively, you can monitor this. Now I used to go to Dato Vijay, for example. Alright, I used to show him my check. Alright, so I used to go to Dato Vijay like a school student. Okay, so I'll take my check and my genealogy report. Now you have it online. Those days we used to print it. Okay, and I'll show him. And he said, okay, your check is $4,000 US. Because when I started networking, the plan was 400. Now they made it better, 250. Unbelievable, okay? So what I did was I sat down with Dato and said, Dato, my check is $4,000 US this week. Right? Then he'll ask me, Patman, what's your check next week? He never failed to ask this question. How many of you are asking this question of your downlines? How many of your uplines are asking you this question? So he asked me, Patman, what's your check next week? Simple fundamental question, right? And I'll give him an answer. I'll tell him, Dato, my check next week is 4,008. Example, 2 extra steps. And I thought I can go home and sing Kumbaya. No. My upline would stop me and say, okay, show me how. Show me how you're going to get 4,008. So it's easy to say things, you know, right? It's easy to say that, hey, 4,000 this week, next week 4,008. Or nowadays 750 this week, next week 1,005. That's a good goal. I'm not saying that's a stupid goal. That's a good goal. That's a good target for 7 days growth. But the question is, how? Where? Left? Right? This guy? This guy? Is this guy going to grow? Or are you hoping that the UVs are going to fall from the sky? No, it has to be strategic. So if you want to go from 750 a week to 1,500 a week, you must have an additional 9% here. I mean sign-ups coming in or UV coming in, correct? How? Where is this extra 9 going to come every week? From this guy, is there a new group? Is this guy, has he started rule 3? This guy, does he have? You must have a systematic approach to predict this. You cannot just say from 750 to 1,500 and hope it's going to happen. Because this business is not about hoping things are going to happen. This business is about making things happen. Alright? Because simple fact, alright? Every traditional business in the world, from Microsoft to the local restaurant in where you live in your town, works on the concept of targets and goals. Some of them work on monthly targets, some of them work on weekly targets, some of them work on daily targets. But my message to you is, right, in our business, every 7 days, there has to be a goal. Right? Every 7 days, there must be a target. Every 7 days, you have to monitor. Right? Every end of 7 days, you have to review. What are the targets of your leaders? Have they achieved it? Has she achieved it? Has he achieved it? Why not? What happened? Why didn't he achieve it? Where is the breakdown? You can't just sit there as a big upline and say, all of you bring me more money. Please wake up and smell the coffee, guys. This is a serious, systematic business. This business requires a lot of monitoring, a lot of planning, a lot of strategy. Right? And what Dato taught me was 7 days count. Every 7 days matters. Right? That 1 week becomes the most important week of your life. And the next week becomes the most important week of your life. And the next week becomes the most important week in life. That means from Saturday to Friday, you need to know what you're doing. You need to know what you want to achieve. How many presentations? How many sign-ups? What's your check going to be this week? How many people attending training? How many people watching DVDs? Right? How many people sitting in your one-on-one meetings? How many downlines are you going to counsel this week? And the same way, your leaders have to go downline and implement the same thing. Alright? So my message to you is very simple. Alright? Let's talk about the big dreams. I'm a dreamer. I believe in the power of dreams. So if you have big dreams which you want to achieve in the next 3, 5, 7 years, unbelievable. Alright? I'm your biggest supporter. But in order to achieve that big dreams at the end of 3, 5 or 7 years, first start by achieving your weekly targets. Start by achieving your goals every 7 days. Start by achieving simple, systematic goals. How many presentations you are going to do, how many sign-ups you're going to get, what is your check next week, all right? And how are you going to achieve it? How many people attending training? How many people watching your DVDs? How many people did you send SMS to? Simple target, but still important. Right? Because communication is the key in sustaining your network. But you communicate based on emotional needs. Oh, sales are low in my group. There's not much UV coming. I need to communicate more. That's a wrong reason. Communication with your downline should be consistent. Consistent. Based on weekly achievable targets. Alright? Now wherever you are sitting here watching this video, even if you're 2 days old in QuestNet, or even you're 2 years old in QuestNet, use this method. Use the method of every 7 days count. Use the method that every 7 days matter. Alright, focus on a simple 7-day target, but make sure you achieve it. And if you don't achieve it, don't say, I didn't achieve it, let me try next week. No, sit down with your upline, counsel upline, understand why didn't you achieve it. Were you too lazy? You didn't know how to monitor, you didn't know how to push, you didn't have enough trespass. Right? You must review why you didn't achieve targets. The biggest mistake people make in network marketing, they don't achieve a 7-day target and they say it's okay. It's not okay. If you were my downline and I'm your direct upline, you don't achieve your target, I will sit down and talk to you. I will hammer you and push you to make sure next week you achieve it. Because a man or woman who doesn't achieve their goals continuously, after a while give up. And they just sail along in networking without a destination. So imagine if you are sitting in a boat in the middle of the ocean with no destination, what happens? You keep floating around until you drop dead, run out of water, run out of food. So networking, don't float around. Have a destination. Start with every 7 days. Right? Start with every 7 days. Make sure Rule 3 is part of it. So if Rule 3 is part of your 7-day target, that means 4 presentations a week. Simple. But don't sit down and sing Kumbaya. Go out there and achieve your weekly targets. Because a combination of weekly targets means you become financially free. And make sure you monitor your leaders. Make sure they monitor their downlines. Make sure they monitor their downlines on the weekly targets. So guys, please take this message very seriously. Every 7 days counts. Every 7 days is the most important 7 days in your networking career. Every week can make a big difference. Every target, no matter this small or this big, is important for you to achieve it. Are you with me? Please nod your head and say yes. Right? It's a very simple message which a lot of people take for granted. Alright? So please, go back out there, go back to your leaders, go back to your network and implement this. Have a proper system of monitoring. Go back to your upline and ask them, I want to have a target this week. I can't wait next month. I want something this week. I want to achieve this week. Alright? And if you implement this effectively in your network, you will see a drastic difference in the results you produce in our most amazing industry called network marketing. Remember, every 7 day counts. The week.